Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how you can visualize data in QGIS and export this data to a DWG. So in this example I'm going to be looking at the tree canopy sizes in QGIS and how I could export this for further use. So what we'll drop in our tree data for Footscray. Before we do that, just make sure we align our map to the right zone. There we are. Okay, so as you can see, when we drop our data in, they're all just points which aren't at any size. So how we can organize this, we can go to the properties and we can categorize them. And as I said earlier, we're going to be looking at the canopy. So look at the canopy radius. We'll identify this. At the moment, it's doing every single radius, which is not ideal. So instead we can move to a graduated symbol. And this means that we can create a identification in ranges rather than the categories, which you can see behind. If I change it back to a categorized, there we go. Here you can see there's all these different random colors, which is hard to identify. So that's why we're going to use a graduated ramp. And let's change it to be like this. It's probably hard to understand, potentially. Just keep it on blues. And what you want to do, let's adjust this radius. So we'll say trees with a radius of 0.85 has to be the lowest layer. I want to make this into 4 different sections. So let's say that it goes 0 to 4 meters, 4 meters to 8. Adjust this layer so we're not having overlapping information. Oops. There we go. Also want to adjust your data just so that if someone did open your file later on, they understand what they're looking at. Okay, so we'll apply this to our map. Now we've got a color range, but we don't have a size, so you can actually change this symbol. So let's just leave this symbol at that base size. I think that's reasonable. Make this next one, let's make it 4. Make this one 6. Make this one 8. We'll apply that. So now on our map we can see that there's variation in the tree size. We might want to, on our map, might want to add a drop shadow. Might also want to have an opaqueness so we can actually see the red dots underneath. There we go. worry about that. Okay. So now that we've got our layers, we can see they're all different. If we wanted to export these, what we can do, we can open up our layers over here. Now we can select these features. So this is going to select all of our trees which are over 12 meters in size. Right click it, go export, save selected feature as. Let's save this feature as call it tree underscore canopy underscore 12 meters or more. Oops. Okay, so now I've got these layers exported. Fortunately, you do have to change the symbols again, but this is quite quick. Let's make it 8 meters. Apply. Then you want to export this layer. Save this feature as. Look for your AutoCAD DXF file. And you can save it as tree canopy 12 meters or more. DXF. Let's just make these points for the program that gets put in. Okay, so now we've got this. If we were to open up a program, such as Rhino, now what usually happens is that you can't actually find this data. And this will import it where it would be on the world map. If you had a file of the roads for Footscray, which we might have, let's just have a look. We could export that as well. Just quickly export the roads as well. Here we go. Okay, now we've got our roads, so we can actually see where these points are getting put. And we should be able to export all of these symbols just the same way we did earlier. Beautiful. we are. Let's export this last layer. There we are. And when we're in Rhino, we can import the rest of these layers. Okay. Now what I would suggest, let's call this one 8 to 12 meters. When you move it over to another file, just categorize it as well so we can tell what is what. Oh. Ah, that layer did not export correctly. There we are. Here we are, and as you can see, we've got our points for our different tree sizes, which we can see. And this means that if we're in another program, such as Rhino, we could make trees that are a certain radius. You could use a Grasshopper script, or you could manually make trees, which are roughly the size that they're meant to be. There we are, so do that, and so you could copy all these to the different points. Or you could use these points as well as areas to pop tree assets. And that's how you can export your data as DWGs from QGIS. Thanks for watching.